Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. You need an orthopedist, you go to Brock, you need a roof, you call Parish. That's what you do. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to share the link and a pop up started playing. My apologies. Um, there we go. Okay. My apologies, y'all. All right, let's get going here. LSU back on the practice field this morning. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave the house here in about 30 minutes or so. So let's do about a 20-25 minute show, and then I'm a jet out of here. Got to get over to LSU. They are our media availability set to begin at 9:45 a.m. Tigers outside on the practice field. I would assume we're going to get, it doesn't say specifically, but I would assume we're going to get scrimmage periods today. We did last Saturday, full contact, full pads, full contact scrimmage. So I'm assuming we're going to get that at the end of our availability today as well. Next Saturday is the final workout of fall camp, and they're in Tiger Stadium next Saturday. So we got to watch that last year. They did some situational stuff. But anyway, I'll be interested about to see how today goes. Last week, last Saturday, was the day where the offense really dominated the day. And then they went into the team period in the scrimmage period, and the defense just kept getting stops. So they had an interception. Uh, and then when the twos were out there, they ended up getting, I think, a sack on fourth down or a stop on fourth down. I don't know, my notes are in my car from that scrimmage. But anyway, so there was one of those days where the the offense won the day until they went and actually played football, and the defense had the upper hand. So curious to see how that goes today. So do me a favor, y'all, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Facebook. Please follow along the page and share the post and all that good stuff. Brock and Parish need North Peach. Go to Brock. You need a roof. You call Parish. We appreciate some awful weather in the area this week. If you had any roof issues, we'd love to help you out. Unique Physique, semaglutide, tirzepatide, once a week injections for weight loss. Everybody's heard of it. You know someone who does it. You've heard the success stories. If you're interested and want to learn more, you can do the whole thing over telemed, so you never have to go to the office, and they can ship your medicine anywhere in the country. So even if you're outside of Baton Rouge, you can still use Unique Physique. So go to uniquephysique.com. And then Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, of course. Um, Restored Motions. If you have any pain, Crystal Poche, book a session. She'll take you out of it. All of the links are in the description of the YouTube video, and I will tag everybody, all the sponsors in Facebook as well. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Hey, Jeremy, good morning. Wendell Norman, good morning. Brett DeGrow, good morning. Captain Eli, good morning. Carl the Cat, what's going on? RIP Ed Daniels. Man, that I'd heard that that it was not good when he was in California. I don't need to share any of the details, but that it was not good. Um, but then when they flew him back to New Orleans, the fact that they were able to fly him home maybe gave me a little hope that he had turned the corner, but clearly not. So I don't know if y'all knew. I get like a lot of people from Baton Rouge may not be as familiar with Ed Daniels because he was a New Orleans television staple, but I understand how that's very community based. In the same way that people from New Orleans may not be really familiar with the people in Baton Rouge or Lafayette. It's a, sort of a market specific thing. Um, and everybody always says nice things about people when they pass, but I'll tell you this about Ed Daniels. Um, he professionally was incredible, at asking questions. And I had this idea for my show on Monday of just combing through some press conference and just getting some of Ed's questions, and you would be stunned at how many times some of the most thoughtful and memorable answers from coaches over the years you got were from Ed's questions. One of the reasons that I certainly know to prepare when I go into a press conference is because of Ed Daniels. Despite the fact that he was around for so long, was always super just complimentary and encouraging. I mean, just a genuinely good man who was great at his job and loved what he did, and people enjoyed being around him, which isn't the case for everybody, especially in this business. Like, some people are. Here's the way that I always describe the media. You, irrespective of this conversation, I always say there's two types of people in media. And this is generally true. There could be exceptions, but generally this holds water. There's people who see everybody as competition and would step on your face to get wherever they want to go. And then there's people who realize they had help getting wherever they are professionally, and they're willing to pay it forward. And that's what Ed was. A very kind man who, despite all of his experience and successes, was always willing to offer a kind word, to encourage people. Shoot, man, I just saw Ed at media days. I mean, we got back from media days, and then they went to Irvine. I mean, it was the next week, right? And we got back from media days on Thursday, and Saints camp started on the following Wednesday. So, I had just seen him. We were in the Brian Kelly scrum. I was standing right next to Ed Daniels. Man. Anyway, condolences to his family, man, and those that loved him. Ed was, he's going to be missed, man. He's going to be missed by a lot of people. Anyway. Jacob Thompson, good morning. How's the special teams going to look this year? Damian Ramos looks good. They're struggling, trying to find some consistency at punter. Brian Kelly even said that last time we met with him. Xavier Thomas, I think, is going to be a returner. And they're spending a lot of time on them coverage units, man. So, I mean, I think when people say how's the special team is going to be, they typically mean the specialists. How's the kicker, the punter, the return game. I think you're fine with Damian Ramos. You have a big question mark at punter. And I think Xavier Thomas is going to be pretty great too. So we'll see. Hey, Brian, good morning. Yeah, for sure, man. Football mode is upon us. Hey, Devin, good morning. LSU better be ready. Saw the new video board. Yeah, man. Video board looks great in Tiger Stadium. Some needed upgrades. It'll enhance the fan experience. It looks really good. You can see it on all the ESPN, so 1045 ESPN social medias if you want to check it out. Hey, Jay, good morning. Drew, good morning. Rocky Killian, good morning. Sad to hear about Ed Daniels. Absolutely, man. Good morning, everyone. What's your prediction on the outcome of moving down the defensive side of the ball? Good reference, man. Very good reference. Yeah, I think we're going to see Stamps and Sage Ryan hold at corner unless Zy Alexander is ready to take that leap. I don't know who's ready to take their spots. But if there was an opportunity, it seems like this would be it. I feel pretty comfortable, like in all the practice we've seen, that they probably got their starting 11 and then their 12, whenever they go into nickel. I mean, I think you're going to have Guillory and Paez as your tackles. I think Jones and Swinson are your ends. I think Perkins and Penn are your linebackers. Major Burns is your star. Stamps and Ryan are your corners, and then Jordan Allen and Jordan Gilbert are your safeties. But again, the wild card would be if you get to a point where Zy Alexander can revert to form of a year ago coming back from the injury, then I think he could take Sage Ryan's spot at corner, and Sage would kick back and play safety, and Jordan Allen would come off the field. That's just one man's opinion from having seen him practice. Blake Estes, what's going on? All right. Look forward to it, man. We'll be over at Don Juan. See you after the Ole Miss. Hopefully we're celebrating a win. That will be wild if they are. It'll be a wild scene. Hey, Jeremy, good morning. This is going to be the longest 2 weeks. Jesse Brown, good morning. Hopefully no injuries tomorrow night. Want to see the offense play better. Yeah, Saints tomorrow night against the Niners. They wrapped up practice in Irvine yesterday. Rashid Shaheed left with a foot ankle injury. That's a total bummer. They have not had good injury luck so far in camp, the Saints. So maybe they can turn that around, but definitely hoping for a better outing against San Francisco tomorrow night. Eli, Daniel Jeremiah said on his podcast he's confused on why they decided to move Fuanga to left tackle. He went on to say the Saints had needs at both ends and why make the rookie uncomfortable. So listen, I'm not there at every practice, but I will say we interviewed Taliesin Fuanga's offensive line coach at Oregon State, if y'all remember this, right after the draft. And he's at Michigan State now, by the way, but he coached Fuanga his entire time there at Oregon State. And I asked him that question point blank, and he said he can absolutely play left tackle. And if anything happened to our left tackle, he would have kicked over to left tackle. It was just that they had a veteran left tackle there that had been sort of entrenched. And so Fuanga played right. It's not that he couldn't play left. It was just that he played right. So I worry less about like the transition from right to left and more about does he have the physical ability to play tackle in the NFL. The other interesting thing was, if you remember, we talked to John Stinchcomb, and John made a great point. He said, there's this whole idea that the left tackle is the blind side. And he made a point about how that's not always necessarily true. It's depending on where the play is. Are you short side? Are you field side? And a lot of times you have the best edge rusher actually coming from the right side of the offensive line. So it was interesting. I think sometimes maybe we oversell the importance of left or right. I mean, think about Ryan Ramczyk. He's one of the best tackles in the league as a right tackle. So I don't really think too much of that. Either he can physically or he can't. Austin, good morning. Got the whole family tuned in from Laguna Beach. All right, Austin. Hope the family are doing awesome this morning, man. Best to all of you. Hope you have a great weekend. Looking forward to hopefully see you in a couple weeks, man. We're out in Vegas. Hopefully we can connect. Brett Taylor, good morning from Gainesville. All right, Brett, what you doing down in Gainesville, man? Jerry G, good morning from Gulfport. Trey, what up, Trey Fisher? Good morning, man. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Hope the first week of school was good. Larry Garner, good morning. Murder Giraffe, what up? Kirk Taylor, good morning. Nicholas Bourgeois from Monterey, California. Man, I'm jealous. I'd love to be in Monterey right now. Brad, good morning. Jordan Jones, what are you looking for from practice today? Yeah, good question, Jordan. I feel like I know what I'm going to see in all the individual periods. The same thing we see every time we go out there. I'm going specifically today, hoping to see another scrimmage period. Blake Baker told us they had 4 practices scheduled that were full tackle practices, only 4, all fall camp. We saw one of them last weekend. I'm guessing this is going to be one of them today. And then next week when they're in Tiger Stadium, I'm guessing they're going to be, full scrimmage, full contact again. So I want to see if when they go into a scrimmage period, if the defense holds up again, because overwhelmingly that's been my biggest takeaway from fall camp is when they're in individual drills, the offense wins. When they go to team period, it's much more competitive, and maybe even the defense has an upper hand. How's the D-line coming along? Yeah, Kirk, I think they are good at defensive end. Not like good comparative to last year. Like Savion Jones is 285. He looks awesome. Braden Swinson, was your best pass rusher last year among your defensive ends, not counting Harold Perkins, right? You got 2 young guys that are going to play in Relaford and Kalaj Cobbins. Like those 2 are just they have shown to be really, really effective pass rushers. And that's probably going to be a role they have, even in a abbreviated role this year. Kind of like, we saw with guys like Kendall Beckwith in the past as a freshman, or how they used Womack last year. That's not even counting Womack and Shan. So I think they're really good at end. I I think you just got to see what the depth looks like at tackle, because I don't know that they have guys at tackle that are all conference caliber players, but you got a lot of old guys, man. Um, and Bo Davis, what's maybe most interesting, like just interesting, right, is when you go watch the individual periods with the defensive line when Bo Davis is working with the tackles, like the technical aspects that he's working on, it's so far above my understanding, but it's like how he'll build pass rush moves on top of each other. Like they'll start a drill against a hanging bag, right? And it's like, all right, it's club and rip, and then it's club, hand down, rip, and then it's like it's almost like watching friggin' a, a karate fight, where it's all about hands. Um, they work so much on where your hands go, how to beat the offensive lineman with your hands. Um, I just think they're so much better coached this year. Uh, I just don't know that when you run up against some of the better offensive lines, do you have the horses to really run with them? And I don't know. We'll see. But you got a lot of bodies. I mean, Guillory, Paez, Lee, Washington. You throw Chemo in there, but I think he's going to struggle in game situations, like actual like playing that level of football at defensive tackle for the first time. And then Don McKinley. I mean, I'd throw those six and say, that's a pretty good rotation of bodies where you can stay fresh at defensive tackle. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Tiger Diver, good morning. Okay, good looking out, man. Have a good week. Coach Nate Green, what's up? Trey Warren, what's up? Clug Ruckus. Something to think about. You can match just about any shade of green together. I got it. I had to say something to try to beat him. Stephen Miller, what up, my dude? Hope you're having a great morning, man. Good to see you as always. Jared, morning Scone. Finally catch a live episode. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Jared. James McKinney, Irfan Sayad, Jordan Jones. Think Ramos is going to be a punt returner. Oh, so there was so LSU released a video from practice yesterday where they got to skip a period if the punter or if the kicker caught a punt. So they put Ramos back deep. He had to catch the punt. And if he did, they could skip a period. So he caught it and the team mobbed him. It was cool. Go Tigers. Life's too short. Tell your loved ones you love them. Yeah, man. That's in reference to Ed Daniels for sure. Brennan Huff, good morning. Mason Dixon, did they do the strobe LED stadium lights? They did. So those are done. So they can do the light show in Tiger Stadium now. They redid the lights. They did the video board in the north end zone and the two in the corners of the south end zone. And then they redid the ribbon boards as well. The ribbon boards are like the video boards that circle the whole stadium. They redid those as well. And I know because we had to redo all our graphics for it, because as a LSU partner with Eagle 98.1, the LSU Sports Radio Network, we get placement on that. So I think one of the things we're putting on there is Eagle Game Day and Whiskey and Wine. So I think if you're in Tiger Stadium, I think you're gonna see Whiskey and Wine on the ribbon board or the logo, not the show, the logo. Anyway, Guy Brooks, good morning, man. Hope you're doing well, Guy. Hope Drew had a great first week of school. Yeah, man, he did. Thanks so much, man. Steve Blanchard, when do they finish camp? Begin preparing for USC? Yeah, so next Saturday they scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, and then it's game week. So they really start. I'll ask Brian Kelly that. Like, do they start working on SC next week? But maybe that was part of what he alluded to with it being sort of moving day. But next Saturday is the last day technically of fall camp. Jordan Jones, when would you think Alexander would be comfortable with coming back? Did they put Sage at safety? Yeah, so that's what I think would happen. And I don't know when Alexander would be comfortable coming back. I mean, he's out there doing everything. That's the strange thing, because like he is out there doing everything. He's not skipping drills. He's not skipping team periods. Like Zy Alexander is out there doing everything, but he's got a big clunky brace on his knee. And, they certainly know his effectiveness better than I do at practice. So we'll see. By the way, so I only got about 5 more minutes, y'all, because our availability starts at 9:45, or at least that's what's on the schedule. We probably won't get into like 10:15, but so I'm gonna have to wrap here in about 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna skip through a little quickly. My apologies if I skip you. As always, shout out to Brock and Parrish. Remember, Brock, after hours clinic open nights and weekends. So if you find yourself in need of an orthopedist this weekend, you can go to Brock, any of their locations across Greater Baton Rouge. And of course, Parrish Construction and Roofing had that awful weather this week. So if you found yourself having any roof issues, we'd love to help you out, residential or commercial. Parishbuilt.com. Remember, all of our sponsors are linked in the description of the post on YouTube, and I'll make sure to tag everybody on Facebook as well. Unique Physique and Restored Motion, semaglutide, tirzepatide. Unique Physique can help. Telemed, and they can ship anywhere. So even if you're outside of Baton Rouge, use Unique Physique. And if you got pain, Restored Motions and restoredmotions.com. Okay, y'all. Let me see if I can get a few more here. Whiskey and Wine in Tiger Stadium, great promotion. It's in the program too. Jordan Jones, our practice open to the public? No, man, it's credentialed media only. Brant Roban, good morning, man. Hope all is doing well. Glad to see you there. Jerry, besides, I'd rather an offensive lineman than Justin Simmons. Sure. Can't you have both? I mean, Simmons 1 year, $8 million. Are you on board with dumpster fire for Nussmeier? That's Terrio's thing. Maybe. I mean, look, if Nuss goes and has a season this year, like, hang on. Hunter Broadhead, upset we lost Simmons to Atlanta, but I think Howden can be good. Not only that, but Jonathan Abram, remember, both those guys played sort of in tandem last year and were good. Dennis Allen said it this week. It wasn't so much it wasn't so much that they were looking to upgrade at safety because the guys were playing poorly. It was more they had an opportunity to add a really good player. So Steven, compared to what you guys were able to see last year in camp versus this year in camp, how much better is the tackling? Man, it's a good question, Steven, especially because they struggled so much tackling last year. Remember one of the first defensive play of the year, Sage Ryan missed a tackle on the outside. I wish I could tell you, man, but we just don't see them tackle much. So whenever they're in shells, they do a lot of thud and touch in team periods. The one we have seen like one tackle period. It was last Saturday when they were full pads, and the defense won the day, man. So mostly when they work on tackling, it's interesting. They're tackling dummies. Like they'll have drills where, like linebackers will have to. I mean, they're working on wrapping. Like linebackers will have to shuffle and then shoot, and then they have like a pad laid down and the dummy standing right there, and like they have to wrap and tackle to the ground. They'll make them tackle moving, like they have these rings that I don't know, man. I'm this big, think of a ring like this big that are padded, and they'll hold and throw them. They got to go tackle in space. I mean, they're working on it a ton, but just, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, like we just don't see them tackle much because they're not tackling much. Blake Baker told us they have 4 days in all of camp where they're full tackle to the ground, and one of them was last week. I'm sure one of them's today, and I'm sure one of them will be next Saturday when we see him in Tiger Stadium. Hey, Gulf South. Did hear about Ed Daniels, man. If you go back to the start of the show today, I did mention Ed at the start of Morning Scone today. So Ed was it's not coincidental that everybody you're seeing speak about Ed is all saying very nice things. Professionally, like I didn't know Ed great personally, right? I knew him just through work, through professional things, but he was always incredibly kind and encouraging and complimentary to me. I mean, it's hard. Like I say this out loud, it's still startling sometimes. Like this is my 18th season covering LSU football. I still feel like a young guy. But part of that is because there's guys like Ed that have been around for so long and were already established when I showed up. But Ed, even when I was young and new, just a very kind and complimentary person, man. And a great reporter. Man, just 67, man. That just sucks. It's just like, just sucks. I'm kind of in this this I don't know if you'd say emotional state, whatever, where I'm more just like I'm pissed. Like I'm very pissed that shouldn't have like Ed was 67 years old, man. I just saw him at media days. He was for all appearances a very healthy guy and uh, just sucks. It just sucks. Anyway, definitely condolences to his family, man. I'm sure we'll all be talking about it today over at practice. Um, let's see. Anthony, good morning. Let's see. Glad defense has been more competitive. Looks turned the corner. A little concerned the offense has struggled to score. That's always the question, right? It's always the question. Like when one side of the ball does well, is it like, well, should you be encouraged that the defense is better, or should you be worried that the offense isn't as good? And it's a fair. That's literally every time. That's why things like joint practices in the NFL are a good thing, right? Because you get to go play against someone else and kind of gauge how you're doing. So that's why it's a bummer that the Saints didn't get to practice this week against the Niners. Anthony, the thing I would say to that, and I understand the question. That's like everybody. That's always like the question that should be asked. Like it's like, well, are they good or is the other side of the ball bad? But in the most like, but there are things that are certainties. For example, we know LSU's offensive line is awesome. Like they are awesome. They are going to be awesome against anybody they play. You know what I mean? Like that is a given. No matter what happens in the scrimmage periods, we see LSU's offensive line is awesome. So every win the defense gets against that offensive line is super impressive. Like that's one part of it. LSU's talent at receiver is unquestioned. Like there is no doubt at all that room is elite. And I know they lost Neighbors and Thomas, but Kyron Lacy, Chris Hilton, CJ Daniels is a 1,000-yard receiver. Xavion Thomas was the leading receiver at Mississippi State in the SEC last year. Aaron Anderson looks awesome. Shelton Sampson was a 5-star. That's not even counting Pimpton and Green and Mason Taylor. Like they have so much, man, on offense. It's just that's why I'm more encouraged that the defense is getting stops when they do. Okay. Last one. Brett Guidry interview with Kennison was excellent. How does it feel interviewing people you grew up watching? I know I'd be starstruck or fanboy. It's pretty cool you get that opportunity. It's interesting, man, because like I got to go. It's 19. The longer you do the job, the less like it's like anything else. It just becomes sort of routine. But it's so interesting to me that like it's definitely people that I had a connection with when I was younger that kind of makes me feel like that. Kevin Falk is that. I mean, even still when I see Kevin, I'm like, and I've known Kevin now for a long time, but even still, like when I see Kevin Falk, it's like, God, that's Kevin Falk, Like I don't have that feeling about Joe Burrow because Joe was a college kid when I was an adult covering the team. But like when I was a kid watching Eddie Kennison, return the punt against Mississippi State or the kickoff against Michigan State in the bowl game or Kevin Falk, God, like just being Kevin Falk. I was like last week when I got to interview Fred LeBlanc from Cowboy Mouth. Like that was awesome for me because I've listened to Cowboy Mouth for 30 years. They've been such a part of my life. It's, anyway. So yes, there is that. Okay, y'all. I'm so sorry. I got to run. I got to go get the practice. So hey, I didn't record. So real quick, I didn't record Locked On last night because I wanted to do an episode today after practice. So as soon as practice ends, I'm coming home. I'm recording Locked On. So I'll give you a full practice report today for Locked On. So if you're not subscribed to Locked On LSU yet, please do it. Podcast or YouTube. I'll have it posted. We meet with Brian Kelly at 11, scheduled 11:55. We'll probably talk to him for 20 minutes. I'll get home. Hope to have that published 1:30. So be on the lookout for Locked On LSU this afternoon for a full scrimmage recap from today. All right, I got to bounce. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for being there. We'll see you.